What's up, everybody? Namco and Dustin here. Fantasy Smack Talk. Week 3's upon us. Got a lot to go on the show. So, Dustin, who is our Week 2 winner?
We got Pat from DC. Congratulations. Your shirt will be coming to you shortly. And also, don't forget, it's not too late to sign up. But we had a request in our forums to do a buy low, sell high segment on the show this week. So here you go. Brent, hit him with some buy lows.
We are of the people. First buy low breaks my heart, and that's Arian Foster. It's well documented. I love this guy. He's a buy low, but he is a very scary buy low. I own him in a couple leagues, and I'm terrified to be owning him. But if you can get him on the cheap 25 cents on the dollar, you gotta do that, because once his hamstring gets better, he could be ridiculous.
Yeah, you gotta love that. Next, Chris Johnson is a guy that we really like as a buy low. Tennessee's been moving the ball okay through the air, which has kind of left Chris Johnson as the forgotten guy, but he's gonna get things going, and now that the passing game's working, it's just gonna open it up for him even more. He'll be safe. Don't worry about him. He'll turn it around.
Next, we got a guy that we loved coming into the year, and that's Mario Manningham. Now, he had the concussion, so obviously that's one reason to buy him low, but he hasn't put up huge numbers yet, partly because he was hurt. And Monday night, he could have had huge numbers. Eli underthrew him twice. He had that one catch that he was stumbling, he got it. If he caught it in stride, it would have been a touchdown. Manningham, great buy low guy right now.
And another couple of receivers who we think are great buy lows. They had good years last year. Mike Williams, Tampa Bay, and Roddy White, Atlanta. These guys are great receivers. They're going to get it going. If you need help at that position, you might be able to get these guys somewhat cheap right now.
All right, let's look at the sell highs. And I apologize, Mr. Newton. I am a believer of you now, apparently. I mean, he's looked pretty good, but Cam Newton's our first sell high guy. And here's the reason. You can get crazy value for him. I was in a league. I was able to trade Cam Newton and Dez Bryant for Michael Vick and Julio Jones. Now, it was actually offered to me. I had to call Dustin and be like, I gotta take this, right? And you know, we talked it, you got it. I had to take it, and you have to do this. If you're getting this crazy value for Newton, you have to, because if he has one mediocre week, all that value that he has right now is gonna come down. He's all over ESPN. His stock can't be any higher. I mean, I got Michael Vick, top 5 pick, arguably.
Sell high for sure. Next, Kenny Britt. We actually really like Kenny Britt, but he is just off to an amazing start. I mean, if you can get top 3 wide receiver value for him right now, we say go for it. He's going to have a lot of amazing games, but I do think he will be slightly inconsistent, especially with Chris Johnson and be able to run the ball how they normally do. Sell Kenny Britt if you can.
Yeah, and you always got to be worried about Britt with the off-the-field stuff, too, so he's a little bit of a headache. So, yeah, if you get one of those elite guys. All right, next is Fred Jackson. Obviously, this guy's off to a ridiculous start, but it's kind of like Kenny Britt. We do like him going forward, but if you're going to get that elite talent for him, you got to do it at this point.
And the last sell high we're going to talk about is McCluster for the Chiefs, also Thomas Jones for that matter. You know, we haven't figured out exactly how it's going to shake out there, but their value's kind of high right now because everyone was trying to get them off the waiver wire, but we think they're definitely going to hurt each other's value. And in a non-PPR league, if you can get anything from McCluster, I say go for it, because I don't think he has much value at all in that format.
All right, let's get into those forms. The first one comes from Reggie6801. He wants to know, should it be starting Daniel Thomas at the Browns or Bo at the Chargers? The community right now, with 77% of the vote, says Daniel Thomas, the rookie's the guy to start.
That's a big percentage.
That is.
But I'm going to have to go against the community. I mean, here's the thing. Daniel Thomas, I really like him. I got him in a few leagues, but we're still not 100% sure how those carries are going to shake out. Dwayne Bowe is going to be playing from behind. Had a decent game last week. I think he could get some good yardage in the second half. Daniel Thomas still just a little bit scary. All right, next one comes from DU5T1NK. Wants to know, should he start the law firm at Buffalo or Hightower at Dallas? 61% of the community is saying the law firm right now.
Yeah, I gotta agree. You gotta go with the law firm. I understand that Woodhead's there, maybe taking away some carries, but all of a sudden Hightower's gotta worry about Halou out there with the Washington Redskins. And the Cowboys have been great against the run, only allowing 59.5 yards a game in this young season. For that reason, you sit Hightower, you start the law firm.
Let's move into those studs, duds, and sleepers. We were just talking about them. My stud, BenJarvus Green-Ellis, going up against Buffalo. They're not going to have any problem at all moving the ball against that defense. Look for him to find the end zone once, maybe even twice this week. My dud, Cedric Benson, going up against the 49ers. The Niners are tough against the run. Benson has a suspension possibly coming up. On a side note, pick up Bernard Scott if he's available in your league. Even if you don't own Benson, Scott could end up taking over that job. We just really don't like Benson. I don't like Benson this week.
I don't like him either, don't worry.
And my sleeper, I'm all in on David Nelson this week. I think you start him over a lot of big names. I like that game, that Buffalo-New England game, for a lot of points, a lot of yards. David Nelson, big week.
All right, my stud is Philip Rivers. Obviously, he's pretty good at football. They're playing the Chiefs, who are obviously pretty terrible at football. They've been outscored 89-10 in the first 2 weeks. I expect Rivers, all Chargers, to have good games this week. Next, my dud, and that's Jay Cutler. He's been sacked 11 times in this young season. The Packers have the 4th most sacks thus far. Obviously, Cutler's going to be running for his life. Other than Forte, I'm pretty much calling all Bears duds. Then, my sleeper, that's Mike Sims-Walker against the Ravens. You might be like, oh, Baltimore has a pretty decent defense. True, they're pretty good, but they're not that great against the pass. They're ranked 28th after the first 2 games against the pass, and their secondary, it's not great. Sims-Walker was clearly the favorite target of Bradford. I expect him to be clearly the favorite target this week and have a pretty good game.
All right, let's get into Mike's picks. His stud, Andre Johnson. 2 straight solid games. Going up against New Orleans week 3. Could be a bit of a shootout out there. He likes Andre Johnson for another solid game. His dud, Reggie Bush, with all his carries getting taken away, or a lot of his carries getting taken away, he really doesn't have any value in other than PPR leagues, and even then, it's not nearly what it was week 1. He needs to stay on your bench unless you're very desperate. And his sleeper, AJ Green, you know, the 49ers, while they're good at stopping the run, not as good as stopping the pass. He does like AJ Green as a play this week. We all saw what he did last week. Amazing game for the rookie. He could have 2 weeks in a row solid games. So that's it for this week's show. But before we end it, I got to talk a little bit about my Bengals. Right when you gave me a little bit of hope. You looked good week 1. You actually had a chance to win the game week 2. I'm getting excited. The Dalton AJ Green connection. Hey, maybe they're going somewhere. And then you go back and do your old... it's ridiculous. Cedric Benson getting suspended. And Simpson really getting pounds of weed delivered to your house? Embarrassing.